What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Toybiz Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave Cyclops figure. What is going on, man? Welcome back. I apologize, y'all, for not having content on the channel lately. Man, your boy's been like unbelievably busy. I just haven't had enough, I haven't made enough time to, do reviews and upload for the channel. So I apologize about that. But we are back and we are going to be coming with more content than ever before. All right, that means things outside of figure reviews. Going to see a lot more music content. I've been working on, my album lately, so spent a lot of time recording and just trying to do like lyric breakdowns, things like that. Stuff that I do want to bring to the channel as well. So you will be seeing a lot of those videos up very soon. But yeah, we are back with some, some of our standard figure reviews. I also want to get some movie reviews on the channel very soon. I think I have an idea of what movie I want to review first, but we'll see how that goes. I might end up changing my mind, but we'll see what movie gets reviewed first. But in the meantime, we have this guy right here, and as I said, he is from the Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave. From Toybiz. This is a Toybiz figure. You can probably tell just by looking at, his physique and the style of him. Definitely not like a Hasbro figure. Yeah, man. Sometimes I forget that Toybiz even had Build-A-Figure waves. Like back in the day, I used to think that that was like solely a Hasbro thing. Because I remember being a kid and like going in the stores and seeing that like on the package it would tell you, Build-A-Figure. And like whoever the character was, you turn the back of the box and you could see all of the characters in the wave that you had to get in order to build, that Build-A-Figure. But, even before Hasbro started doing that, Toybiz was actually doing it first, way back in the day before Hasbro got the license from Toybiz. They were making, all the Marvel Legends characters and, so they were actually doing that stuff first. So, shout outs to Toybiz again for being the GOATs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I really do like the look of this Cyclops figure. I actually got him at Frankenson's, my last trip there. I was with the boy Frankie. Shout outs to Frankie. It's my dog, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was able to pick this guy up. I actually got a discount on him. I had been looking at him online. I was looking to pick him up. I saw him on Mercari, a couple listings in, as well as like eBay. And they were like pretty good prices, and for some reason I just like never like pulled the trigger and picked him up. But I did see him at Frankenson's, like there's like a glass case section where you can see a bunch of like old figures, a lot of like Toybiz Marvel Legends and Bandai Power Rangers, all that stuff. And I saw him in the glass case. I think he was going for 35 originally, but the lady that was working there was very nice. She gave me a discount, so I think I ended up paying 27 for this guy. And I was like, you know what? That's cool with me, man. I don't mind paying, a little more than like a modern day Marvel Legends, just because I feel like this guy is worth it, and because the details on him are so much better than a lot of the, modern Marvel Legends figures, in my opinion. Well, not even opinion, like just objectively, like you can see just how much wash and things are like in his sculpt. This is like a very unique body sculpt, because remember, Toybiz a lot of times didn't really reuse sculpts too much. They always gave you a new sculpt typically for each particular character. So that's something that I like sorely miss, man, in Marvel Legends and just like overall superhero characters that Hasbro makes today. I really wish that they would not be cheap and give us unique molds for characters, so that we don't get the same bodies reused over and over, because it really just takes away from the awesomeness and the realism of like your display. It just takes away because they keep using the exact same body type. Like realistically, not everybody has the same body type, right? So like even if you're a superhero, not everybody's gonna have the exact same proportions. So it'd be nice if they switched it up here and there, but Toybiz at the very least did that for us, so that's a very good thing. But yeah, so taking a closer look at him, here are the details. I forgot to bring in the rotating display stand, but I will give you a bit of a 360 here, so you can kind of see front to back what he looks like. I think he looks pretty solid. I know there are some issues that people have with this figure. Most of those I honestly don't mind, and I'll tell you what they are in just a minute here, but just want to give you a quick 360 so you can see what he's looking like. By the way, have you guys seen the X-Men 97 show? I haven't watched it yet, but I really want to. I'm behind on like so many shows that I need to watch, that being one of them. But yeah, X-Men 97, I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard it's pretty good. You know, I've heard like very good things about it, so I definitely want to watch it at some point. Growing up, you know, I knew about like the X-Men to some degree. I actually haven't really seen most of the live action movies. You know, what is there, like, I know there's X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, or Age of Apocalypse. That's what it's called, right? I know there's that movie. I've seen like parts, like here and there of each movie, kind of, but I've never really sat down, I think, and watched all of one of the live action X-Men movies like all the way through. But yeah, I would definitely like to do that. Cause yeah, they look cool, and a lot of my introduction with X-Men from when I was a kid was the game. I had the game for Game Boy Advance. I remember playing that a lot when I was little, and I really enjoyed that game. It was a 2D game, of course, you know, but it was kind of like it was almost like a Street Fighter style, you know. So it'd be like you pick your character, and then you end up fighting another X-Men character or villain, and yeah, it was just really cool. I really enjoyed that game, and I enjoyed the music of it, and yeah, just awesome game. I actually would like to pick it up again if I can, maybe off of eBay somewhere if I can find it, so I can play that game again because it was a good time. Yeah, drop a comment down below if you guys ever played that game. I think there was only one game that they made for the Game Boy Advance. I could be wrong. They might have made like more than one, but I remember playing one of their games for the Game Boy Advance as a kid. So if you guys know what game I'm talking about, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you've seen that or played it, or if you've seen the X-Men 97 show. Without any spoilers, please. Please don't spoil X-Men 97 because, like I said, I haven't seen it yet. I am planning to watch it, but just maybe give me your thoughts on it. Like, what would you give it, maybe out of 10 or something, the X-Men 97 show, if you've seen it. But yeah, anyways, back to this guy. I do really like that they did a black wash, number one, for him. And you can see, like, some people say that it's a bit heavy for a black wash because there is like a lot of black paint, as you can see, that sits in the recessed parts of like his muscles to bring out the details and whatnot. But it is pretty heavy, so some people might argue that it's a little too much and it actually makes his suit like look dirty, which I can see that too. But me personally, I don't mind it too much. I actually kind of like that look for this guy. I don't know what it is, but I think it just kind of it reminds me of like a more battle, I guess, worn suit, and like it looks like he's actually like been through some battles and like gotten dirt on his costume, and I kind of like that. I think it gives him some character. I feel like not every character has to be like the super clean look, right? Like he could have been in like a brighter blue and yellow, like we're used to seeing, like maybe like the standard like cartoon and stuff. But I like that this one is very stylized. It doesn't look like probably like how you're used to seeing Cyclops. It's more of like a very specific take, but I really like it. I like how he turned out. Again, I like the physique of him. He definitely looks like kind of top heavy. I mean, his proportions look good overall, but it just seems like his chest and torso are a little big compared to like his legs. His legs are kind of slim in comparison, but you can still see like the muscle detail in his legs and whatnot. And I like that we have sculpted things like wrinkles to bring out some of that realism in his suit. We got some wrinkles going like even in the diaper area, even at the top of his head. I really like how they sculpted the top of his like mask. Really like that. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like little wrinkles kind of sculpted going across like the cowl part of his mask at the top, and they have some black wash in there as well. Hopefully the lighting is good in here. I'm using natural daylight as usual. So, and being that there's so much black wash on this guy, he probably does appear pretty dark on camera. I mean, he is pretty dark in person. You know, they use like a dark blue, like a pretty dark blue, and then on top of that, they threw a lot of black wash. So hopefully, you know, he doesn't get too washed out in the camera. But I really like the details on him personally. I like how he looks a lot. Even like the yellow, even the kind of like more gold color for his visor. I like that. And the very like dark red. I think that looks pretty cool. I like the face sculpt too. I like that he looks like kind of like grumpy or angry. Kind of has like a like grumpy old man look, but I just feel like it fits this Cyclops a lot. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I really do like the details on this guy. You know, Toybiz was made it a point to use things like black wash to really bring out the details where Hasbro definitely does not most of the time for our modern day Marvel Legends. But all that being said, let's get into articulation. As far as I remember, accessory wise, I don't think he comes with anything except for a Build-A-Figure, you know, piece, of course, for the Sentinel. I think it was one of his arms. I'm not sure if it was like the right or left arm, but I think he comes with one of the arms, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure whose review I saw first that like brought me to this guy. I think it might have been the review spot, but I will have like some other people's reviews in the description, so you guys can check that out if you want. But I know for sure I did watch the review spots review at one point, and as well as some other people's, and yeah, and that's what kind of like introduced me to this figure, and I was like, yeah, that's a cool looking one. I want to grab that. So, but yeah, anyways, going into articulation. The head can go up not very far. I've tested out all of his articulation, you know, before we started the video, so we can get right to it. But he's gonna only look up about like that far, like very little. You can see his chin kind of goes up, but not very much. It feels like it's gonna pop off if you keep pushing it, so it's not really designed to go up very far. Goes down only a little bit. Just a little bit, you can see from the side, and it gets a little bit gappy in the neck. Again, this is a very old school figure, so you know the head articulation wasn't all that. You know, it kind of seems like Toybiz didn't really focus too much on the head articulation as much back then. They were more focused on the body articulation, which, you know, I think that's fine. I can appreciate that. The head does turn, however, side to side, you know, right and left. You can get a full 360 on it. And it has just ever so slightly tilting, just a very small amount of tilting in there as well. So you get like a little bit of attitude posing in there, so that's cool. As far as the arms, we have ball hinge shoulders, so we can get out to a T pose. Nice strong T pose, and yeah, they only go pretty much like straight out to the side. They don't really go any higher than that. These are like the old school ball and hinge shoulders. Back down by the sides, of course. They can rotate all the way around. You get some nice windmill action out of that. This left arm is actually a little loose compared to the right, so I'm going to see if I can maybe fix that, maybe put something in the joint, like his shoulder joint, to make that a little more stiff. But, you know, not too bad. It's not like super floppy or anything, but it is kind of loose. Bicep swivel. He does have a very nice cut for the bicep. Nice bicep swivel in there. We have double jointed elbows, so that allows him to get some really nice, you know, crunch, and you know, better than 90 degrees. So I think that looks pretty good. It's a nice crunch. Now he does have pretty big gloves, as you can see. The glove part that kind of like comes around his forearm, they are pretty big. So I think that that actually does kind of hinder some of like the bending back of his arm, because this piece runs into his bicep, so he can only go about that far. But again, still better than 90 degrees, so I think that's pretty good. It comes back out. No glove swivel as far as I can tell, but we do have a hinge in the hand, horizontal hinge, that allows us to move the hand inward and away from the body. And then we also have a hinge just before the fingers. The fingers are not individually articulated, but they are kind of sculpted as if they're like, you know, separating a little bit, like opening up a little bit, almost in like a splayed out position. And then they do kind of move in unison with that hinge that's in the middle there. So you can curl the fingers in like that, and then pretty far too. Yeah, you can like almost like make like a closed fist, and then you can open it up about that far. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and that definitely helps if you want to get him into that iconic pose like this. This is probably how I'm gonna have him displayed like pretty much all the time. But yeah, hand up to the visor, like he's about to shoot his psionic blast from his or optic blast, psionic blast, optic blast from his visor. It would have been nice if we could have got like a you know, an effects piece of like, you know, that we could attach or put in front of him to have the beam coming out. I know the Mafex Cyclops definitely has a cool effects piece like that. My goal as far as collecting is I want to get the full team of X-Men members, like the main team from Toybiz, and then I also want to get them from Mafex because Mafex has the more, you know, classic standard look, like the clean costumes and everything, and they give you like all the effects parts and everything. They're just like a little more, there's more you can do with the Mafex ones as far as like display and playability, but I do still really like the style of these old Toybiz ones, so that's why I want to, you know, kind of build that collection first. But yeah, so at some point on the channel you will see reviews of the Mafex X-Men figures as well. But yeah, and then as far as the torso, he doesn't really have like any diaphragm or ab crunch or anything like that. They kind of just focused on the sculpt of the torso, which is, I mean, hey, pretty nice, right? He's jacked. Bro's been making some gains, right? So chest is filled out. He's got the six pack very nicely sculpted. Got some serratus muscles on the side, obliques. And he's got, you can tell like even his lats, you can see his lats from the front. So, you know, he's got like a wide back to match his, you know, wide torso. So there you go. He does, however, have a swivel at the waist though. It's pretty tight, at least on my copy. It's a very tight waist swivel, but he can swivel side to side like so. So you have that, some rotation. He can rotate all the way around, but you know, I'm just gonna do it side to side for right now. And then as far as the legs, you can kick up. You can get a little better than a 90-degree kick to the front. Going backwards, you can get about that much. Just about maybe like a little shy of like a current Marvel Legends going backwards, but that's not too bad. You can see there's a little bit of clearance there in between like the diaper and the leg. So that's nice. You do have a thigh swivel cut right here. So he does have a nice thigh swivel in there. Pretty nice. He's got double jointed knees. So he's able to get his foot going back about that far, which I think is pretty good. And again, he's got some very big like boot cuffs to match his you know, giant gloves. So that's cool. That was one of the complaints a lot of people had about this figure, is they didn't like how oversized the boots and the gloves were. I don't particularly mind it though. Like I said, I think it works with this particular Cyclops. It kind of like gives him some character, I think. And then for the feet, you have a hinge, so you can hinge up. You can hinge the foot up about that far, and it stops a little premature. It's not actually running into like this upper part, you know, this big baggy part. It stops just a little before it hits that, and then you can hinge it back about that far. So pretty much to the tippy toes, which is cool. Matches like our modern day Marvel Legends style. And then we have a toe hinge as well. So we can get them, we can kick up his feet like that, or sorry, his toes, and then get it back down flat. And it doesn't go down. It really just goes up and then flat. So yeah, no, let's see, yeah. No, oh, it's okay. You have like a very slight, that was surprising. I wasn't expecting that. You have like a slight bit of ankle pivot. So you can roll his ankles a little bit, just a little bit side to side. And then no boot rotation or foot rotation. So you would have to turn the whole leg if you want to turn the foot at the, you know, thigh cut, but that's something, right? And then out to the side, he actually gets a really, really good out to the side, the way his hips are designed. I don't know if this is like considered a T-joint. I think it is though. It's kind of similar to the McFarlane Spider-Man from Toybiz, but no balls, right? No ball hinges. It's actually just like the cut, and then you have the hinge kind of like on the side of the leg, so that he's able to swing out to the side very, very far. And he can actually go like better than 180 degrees. He can go like a little bit higher than a perfectly straight line. So yeah, very, very good range for the legs, for that splits. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as his articulation goes. I think that's a pretty good set, you know, for an older figure. Like this figure's got to be like over 20 years old now, or just about, you know. It's a very, very old figure, like 1990s, I'm pretty sure is when this came out, or maybe early 2000s, so it's a very old figure. But yeah, I think it does its job pretty well. What do you guys think? I think it's a cool looking Cyclops. Um, yeah. I think one funny thing about it though is that this little like X that's put on his belt just looks very kind of like flat and drawn on compared to like everything else that's on him. That's like, you know, raised and textured and has like the watch, and then you just see like that little X on his belt. Yeah, I don't think it's like barely raised maybe from his belt. Like it's just barely raised. Like you couldn't even really tell unless you brought it close to your eye. But it seems like it's almost just like drawn on for the center of his belt. So, you know, that's funny. But yeah, I like it, man. I really do like this figure. I was looking to pick him up for a minute. He's got a hole in his back right here. I can't remember what that was for. I'm not sure if like you attach something with a gimmick right there. I don't think it's for a gimmick because he's fully articulated. So it might have been for like a display stand or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at reviews again, and then I'll let you guys know in the description what was supposed to plug in right here. But yeah, he does have a hole in his back. And again, the details for his back look very nice as well. You know, that black wash, all the muscles are sculpted. Very nice overall anatomy on this guy. So yeah, I like that. Very, very nice figure, man. So let's go ahead and get into some size comparisons. And then we'll get on out of here because I have another figure I would like to review today for you guys. I'm very excited to look at it. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into size comparisons. First up, we have a Lightning Collection Wild Force Red Ranger. This is the custom by my guy Power Rangers fan _12 on Instagram. He makes a lot of the you know, missing characters that we never got in the Lightning Collection as far as Power Rangers. So yeah, looks pretty good size wise. Let's go ahead and get another Lightning Collection figure while we're at it. We'll bring in the In Space Blue Ranger. Hasbro did make this one, so this is a standard release right here. Back this up here and get some good focus. Make sure Cyclops is a little more centered. All right. And yeah, you can see they all scale pretty well. They're all around like the same height, pretty much exactly the same height to the top of their head. So that looks pretty good. He'll definitely work with some Lightning Collection and, you know, more modern Marvel Legends figures. And to prove that point, let's bring in some more Marvel Legends. We have the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man right here. All right, very, very nice figure from Hasbro. And we also have the Maximum Spider-Man, everyone's new favorite. All right. So here we have them. You can see the Maximum Spider-Man is standing a little above Cyclops, just a little bit taller, which, I mean, I guess that could be appropriate. I would think that Cyclops was either like around the same height as Spider-Man or maybe a little bit taller. But, you know, I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure how tall, you know, Cyclops stands in the comics. I know Peter's like around like 5'11" typically, so... but yeah, I don't think Cyclops is all that tall either. So if anything, I think he would be the same height or shorter. So we'll see. And then yeah, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. These two actually stand, I think, at a pretty good height. This is like a younger Peter, so he is a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller in frame. So maybe like, you know, young Peter, adult Peter, maybe that height works out. So yeah, I think you could fudge it for your displays or if you wanted to put them together. Let's bring in some Mattel figures. We have the new DC All-Stars New 52 Batman right here. All right, and then we have, let's bring in the Man of Steel Superman figure. All right, right here. So there we go. We've got Henry Cavill's suit. Oh, I did see the new Superman, by the way. We will be talking about it on the channel at some point, so I will definitely be giving my thoughts and like a review for that new Superman movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but yeah, I definitely have some thoughts about it. I will let you guys know. But yeah, I think these guys scale very, very well. They're all pretty much exactly the same height, and I think they look pretty good. So yeah, Batman and Supes. We'll bring in the McFarlane Spider-Man from Toybiz right here. All right, some more Toybiz action. And we have the Mafex Daredevil, one of my absolute favorite figures. I think one of Mafex's best currently. So you can turn him a little bit more this way. There we go. Daredevil stands a little bit taller than each of them. But yeah, I think him and Spidey actually scale pretty well. I think that actually looks pretty good. Our nice, slender, skinny Spidey next to a more buff Cyclops. And yeah, a bit bigger of a Daredevil. So I think that works out all right. Can definitely make it work. All right, let me show you some characters that we haven't seen in a while. I was looking for these guys. Turns out I had them in a box in the garage and I just hadn't pulled them out in a while. But here we have the McFarlane Toys Fortnite Dyer figure. I don't know if you guys remember, I reviewed this guy like ages ago, but finally was able to pull him out. And I also found this guy. This is the G.I. Joe, gosh, what was his name? It's been so long, I kind of forgot his name. He's that robot, like Android, or the Android, there we go, the Android figure. I can't remember his exact name right now, but you can kind of like swap out, battle damage parts for him. I reviewed him on the channel, so if you haven't seen that, I'll try to maybe link it in the description. But a very, very cool G.I. Joe figure. I am looking to get some more Joes pretty soon. Shouts to Rotillo, that's that boy be collecting Joes. But yeah, I can't remember the name of this guy off top, but he's like some kind of like Android figure. Very, very cool figure that you can swap out for battle damage parts. And yeah, this McFarlane Toys Dyer figure from Fortnite. I just thought he looked really cool. So I got all of his accessories and everything. He still looks badass. So there he is next to our Cyclops. And I think all these guys scale pretty well as well. I'd say he is the tallest of the three. And yeah, but they all scale pretty close. So definitely works. Let's bring in, speaking of Joes, we have a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origin Snake Eyes right here. And I finally got his proper sword to put back because I had Storm Shadow's sword with him for a while. And then we have a Marvel Legends Black Cat from the retro card, Spider-Man retro card line. And there she is. And yeah, I think that works out pretty well too. Some nice scaling going on there. So let's move these two out the way for some Black Series. I know we haven't, as far as like my Star Wars fans out there, I know you guys have probably been waiting on some Black Series reviews. Don't worry, I got y'all. Rest assured, I will have very many reviews for some Black Series figures coming up. I actually have a lot of figures that I just haven't unboxed and reviewed yet because I kind of like wanted to play the new Star Wars game before I reviewed them. The Jedi Survivor. Yeah, Jedi Survivor. I just haven't had a chance to get that game and play it yet, except for like at a friend's house. But yeah, so I wanted to play that game first, but I think we'll just get those reviews out anyways, and then I can play the game after because got to get the Star Wars content up too, right? But yeah, here we have a Black Series Count Dooku, and then for Mafex we have a in-game Captain America. Turn them a little more. There we go. And yeah, I think those look pretty good. Very nice scaling there. So yeah, there you go. I think that works out. And we'll bring in our Odious figure from Unparalleled Universe. We have our 1/12 scale Odious, the Living Curse. We'll bring in the SH Figure Arts. We have the SH Figure Arts let's see, this is Quagga-Rider, I believe. Yeah, Quagga-Rider or Ninja Storm Navy Blue. Navy Blue Thunder, and there you go. So yeah, Odious is a pretty tall guy, right? He's supposed to be a Bigfoot, so he definitely should be bigger than these two, and he would be the smallest for sure. So there you have that. All right, finishing it up, we'll get him with a Marvel Legends Luke Cage figure. The Netflix series Luke Cage, right? So this is Mike Coulter. And then we have Green Goblin. This is the Sinister Six box set Green Goblin. Get him off his glider. Let's see, hopefully I can get him standing here. Let's see. He does have very skinny legs, so he can be a little tricky to stand. All right, there we go. I think I got it. All right, so there we go. Box set Sinister Six Green Goblin right there. All right, so yeah, I think those all scale pretty good. Green Goblin's almost the same height exactly, and then you got Luke Cage at maybe just slightly taller than Cyclops, so there you go. Moving them out, we'll finish it off with a McFarlane Toys Raven right here. She is currently handless. I took off her hands and I had her effects pieces on her arms, but those got taken off, so right now she is just a bunch of pegs as far as like her hands go. Oh, come on, don't follow me. There you go. All right, there you go. So there is Raven. For another Mafex, we have our Mark 50 Iron Man. All right, so this is the Mark 50 Iron Man from Avengers Infinity War by Mafex. And yeah, I think that looks all right. Iron Man is a little bit taller, and same thing with Raven. So there you go. I think that should pretty much do it. Might as well get through everybody. We've got one more set of figures. We have the Lightning Collection in Space Pink. We've got the Wall Sticking Web Spider-Man from Hasbro. Okay. Those scale pretty good, right? Looks pretty good. And last but not least, we have our Marvel Legends Retro Wave Shocker. All right. And yeah, those guys stand just around the same height, maybe just a little taller for Cyclops, but yeah, there you go. So that's gonna do it, guys. That is my review on the Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave Cyclops by Toybiz. Again, I think it is a very, very nice figure, probably underrated, honestly. I think a lot of people like talk crap about this guy a lot, that I think is undeserved, because I myself really enjoy the look of this guy, the styling of him. He's obviously a much more stylized figure, so if that's not like the type of look that you like for Cyclops, then you might not want to go for it. But if you don't mind something that's a little more stylized and not maybe like the most comic accurate looking, then I think this would be a good pickup for you. And like I said, when I see him on the aftermarket, usually he's not that much. He's pretty he's around the range of like modern day Marvel Legends as far as price goes. So yeah, I would definitely check like Mercari and eBay. I would say Mercari even more than eBay, because typically Mercari has better prices than eBay, but at least in my experience. So, but yeah, I think he's a pretty solid pickup, especially if you don't mind the styling and you're a big X-Men fan. I think this guy would be a dope addition to your collection. So there it is. No clean figurine scale, obviously. And like I said, even when we do clean figurine scales from now on, I'm gonna have all the scores already done, so that by the time we get into the review, I just show you what it is, and then we can get like right to it instead of figuring it out through the video. But yeah, this is like an older Toybiz figure. I usually don't like to do the clean figurine scales for these, because they're not in a lot of ways they don't they're not really like comparable. I mean, they're comparable, but they're just not like, there's a lot of things that these figures didn't have that the modern day Marvel Legends do have, like accessories and things like that. So I don't really like to give these guys like an unfair score, just because like I feel like they're kind of like not in the same class, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, I feel like sometimes these figures are better than modern day Marvel Legends, at least as far as like the styling goes. You guys know how I feel about Toybiz compared to Hasbro by now. So yeah, there it is, guys. But that's my review. I appreciate you for watching. If you're new and you like the video, please give it a like and please consider subscribing. We are going up, man. I think we're currently at 214 subscribers, and I do have my I am gonna have my video up. I told you guys, you know, the fact that we reached 200 subscribers, I wanted to do something special on the channel, so I will be doing that very soon. Be looking out for that. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for engaging with me, with the content, giving me, leaving comments, leaving feedback, all the likes, everything. It really does mean a lot, man. Bringing the channel a long way. So thank you guys for all of that. Really appreciate it. And yeah, please continue to do so. Share the videos. I'd really appreciate that as well. Let's get a little more exposure, you know what I'm saying? For all the collectors out there and lovers of toys, this is, it's what we do over here, man. But yeah, much love, man. Appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all in the next review shortly. So peace out and have a great Sunday. And I'll see you soon. Peace.